Boom. Bear, 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 bear. You want us to turn
Good morning.
up in the microphone?
Turn it up in the morning, and I'll turn you up right there so you can hear yourself.
Yes.
Are you happy?
I'm happy.
You're happy.
And you know what? Clap your hands.
And we can also do that.
Clap
Good
your
morning,
hands.
good morning, good morning,
If
good
you're happy and
morning.
you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Yay! Everybody out there in radio land, he's still snapping and clapping.
I am.
That was Miguel on the radio, and if you don't know, he's coming to San Antonio inside the Aztec Theater, so you might want to go and get those tickets. No, I don't have any, so no need to inbox me.
Miguel sings If You're Happy and You Know It?
No, I sing that today, this morning. Miguel sings other things.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm going through a thing over here.
Right, you got all kinds of things happening over
My
there.
purse. You don't know.
Your man bag.
Well, okay. If you need to put that on me.
Absolutely.
I am accessory fluid.
I need.
Good morning,
I'm just
everybody.
saying. I don't know how that is to be married. For how many years have you been married? Don't mess that up.
Carry the one.
Don't mess that up.
14.
Okay, so let's move on quickly. Let's move on quickly from this.
She might still be sleeping. Shh.
Right. Let's not
It's
stay
a
on
day
this
off
long.
for her, so.
Oh,
I'm
beautiful,
hoping that, yeah.
beautiful. Well, let's just.
Good morning, Sean, and Sean loves your shirt.
Oh,
Yes, we got the new shirts in at the one.
Yes, y'all gonna just change the subject on me, are you?
Sorry,
Okay.
yes,
So
yes,
this is shirts. Not only
see if I can
tees,
get-
of course.
let me see if I can
Oh,
get-
thanks. Good job.
You're welcome. Let's try
Move
that.
Let's move that and move.
Is it on?
I think it is.
Is it
but
on?
You gotta move. Okay, yeah, move something.
Is
Okay,
it
there
on?
you go, right there.
Is that what we want?
Aw, look how cute you are.
And if I
So-
look like this, it's like I'm looking at your shirt.
It looks like you're doing something.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at my shirt, just kind of. Okay,
Okay,
so look, this
look.
is my shirt.
Yes.
It says, I'll kneel
Mhm.
with Cap before I ever stand with Trump.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
There you
Yes. Made here at the One Hub.
Made here at the
so
One.
get at me. Give me your orders. It does not have to be a white shirt. I mean, so we can do it, you know,
White over black, black over white, white over blue, white over white or black over pink.
Yes.
We could do a yellow shirt, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Perhaps we can do. We cannot put a Nike swoosh on it,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right, can't do that.
But order yours today.
Order yours today.
Yeah.
Yes. We also have cute little, like, I'm a cowboy girl, I'm a Redskins girl, I'm a Bears girl, and all the little cute, you know, girls. I'll have that on tomorrow. So,
I
you know,
like girls.
get snoo shirts. Get snoo shirts.
Girls are so nice.
Yes, aren't we? Aren't we?
It is a gorgeous day because it is. We are alive.
Yes.
It is very rainy and dark outside right now in the Alamo City,
It's been raining, but
and it is going to continue for at least another week.
yeah, I think that
But that's
everybody's
okay,
happy with it. We need
because-
to be,
Makes the flowers grow.
well, I mean, you know, it's God's watering. And so the trees need their water and the flowers need their water.
I need mine.
And,
Shoot, go
you know,
outside.
Yeah, you need your water, and people need to, and nature needs to replenish.
Nature does need to replenish. Absolutely.
So that's why, you know, when you get stuff like this, you just know that nature's replenishing.
Right.
And
I love it.
Don't you worry your pretty little self about it.
Yes. Well, I won't. Today is, as I said, going to be a nice and rainy day. The high today will be, I want to tell you.
I was like, is it going to be 72?
Taking some time. No, it is currently 72 degrees
72 degrees.
in the Alamo City. I
Okay.
love 72 degrees.
72 is a good number.
72 is
That's
a
a good number.
great. There is some river flood warnings.
Right.
So-
Low crossing zone
Low crossing zone
warnings.
river. I'm guessing what
Yesterday-
the San Antonio River. I'm trying to figure out what all this stuff.
You trying to figure out what river? We don't have a San Antonio River. Do
You
we have
do
a San Antonio River?
Wow.
Where is that? Is that
I
the-
just got here.
Is that the river
and
walk?
I've seen it. Yeah, San Antonio River.
Is that-
What river you think they?
Is that what you call it?
I think that's what they call. I think that's what you call it.
Is that what they
just
call
figuring
it?
it out.
Oh, the River Walk?
The
Yeah.
River Walk would be the San Antonio.
So I had some friends come in from Dallas that I used to go to school with at A&M, and so they, they wanted to come down here and see the Alamo City and all that stuff, and I looked real uninterested, and they were like, "Wow, let's go to the Alamo," and I was like, "Really?
Wow.
You want to go do these things?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, right, but I just, I was seeming really uninterested about it, but they really wanted to go, and so I was like, all right. It was like the River Walk, and I was like, all right, if you want to. So we went, and so we was walking on the River Walk, and so my friend goes, "So you just walk alongside a river?" And I said, "It's in the name, boo.
It's in the name."
I don't know what else to tell you. That's why I was kind of like.
But the River Walk is so much more than just walking
there's
along the side.
There's restaurants and all that kind of stuff, right?
And, cool stuff to see. And
right. I really wish it was a little bit more versatile down there. Especially like back in the day when we went. Like there's one type of club and one type, stuff like that.
It's the touristy stuff,
right?
It's the tourist trap.
It's just So I was literally like,
it's
they
like
were
being on a cruise ship.
And I kind of was like, this really isn't San Antonio. This is not what we do. Like I've never.
There seems to be a lot to do here, though. So
there's tons. You just have to go do it.
You have to find it.
You just have to go do it.
Yeah.
It's just stuff that people aren't familiar with. They're scared to go to. And sometimes you just gotta go because the hotels downtown, they have a lot of cool bars and basement restaurants and just different things like that. And it's just kind of like, man, I didn't even know this was hell.
Right. Learn your city, guys. Learn your city. There's so much cool stuff to do out there. Yeah. Anyway, today's high is supposed to be 83, but as far as I saw earlier from another thing, the high will be 77. So at least wherever you are, keep an eye on your phone.
And it ain't gonna be 103.
And see, it ain't gonna be 103.
Which is really the important thing right now.
Tonight will be another low of actually 72 degrees with more rain. Tomorrow will be at some points a little bit sunny with a high of 87, but for the most part rain. And tomorrow night rain. And Thursday's gonna be rain. And it's gonna be rain. But take your umbrella and still enjoy the city. Love is love.
No, don't. I mean, yeah.
And be careful out there. Be careful driving. Be careful with other people. Be careful.
Apparently,
with other
people in
drivers.
San Antonio can't drive. Everybody who's not from San Antonio says that we can't drive, and I don't understand that. So I had to ask somebody one time, "What do you mean by like we can't drive?" And they were like, "You don't use your signal." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You don't." Possibly.
That's most of the places I've ever been. Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean? You see, I'm going right."
Can't you read my mind?
I mean, come
like
on.
Everyone
when
else?
I looked in the rearview mirror, you were plenty of spaces back.
Right.
I'm getting over.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
The one very interesting thing. I've driven lots of places, right? So I've lived lots of places, and the one really interesting thing about the psychology of it, there's one thing that drivers do everywhere.
What's that?
Right? And I've noticed this. I noticed this the other day. Everywhere, drivers do the same thing.
What's that?
So you're driving along,
singing a song,
and you put your signal light on to change a lane.
Yes.
The person, if there's anyone behind you, they will speed up to get in front of you.
Before you change
the lane, so that they get in front of you before you actually change a lane. If you want his perfect psychology, no matter where you go, if there's someone that's kind of like just on your rear right or your rear left, and you want to get them away from you, turn your blinker on and watch them speed up past you. That's everywhere.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
It is terrible. Yeah, it's terrible, and it's incredibly rude, and it's whatever. But if you want somebody to get away from you, just throw your signal light on, and they'll just pass right by.
So here's the thing. I feel like in that whole scenario, you are very much of a cruiser when you drive. Like you drive the speed.
No, I'm going. No, I don't drive the speed limit.
Are you a speed racer?
No, I'm not a speed racer, but I realized that here in San Antonio there is a dog eat dog kind of mentality out on these highways.
These folks be speed racing. They don't have time to put the blinker on. They trying to be in front of everybody. You feel me?
They're just like
that side lane looks open.
Everybody think they got a sports car. Everybody.
Like, what are we doing right now?
Soccer mom in a caravan is like,
I was like, I feel like you're cruising along the highway because I
am not, but I mean, I don't need to go 90 everywhere I go. I think I can drive, I can do 65, I can do 70,
Look, man,
still get there on time without having to do 90 just because my car can do it.
I often
like, that's ridiculous.
I often take naps on the passenger side because I just can't. I'll be like, man, the purpose of this is to get from A to B, right? Like, I want to get to B.
I don't want to pass B. You sure you got this timed right that you can hit the brakes and we stop at the place?
You know we're about to turn right here, right? You know we're about to turn right here.
Sure. Oh my gosh.
Right.
People are bananas.
Welcome to my life. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, man. Too Ambien and you're trying to you pray you wake up there. That's a wrap. Today is Tuesday, September 11th, and of course there are plenty of national days that we're celebrating. Obviously today the first thing that's on every American's mind is Patriot Day and the National Day of Service and Remembrance. It is the 17th anniversary of September 11th.
17
years. It's been 17 years. Look at it like this. Somebody put it into perspective for me this morning on one of the news channels that I have on in the background. He was a teacher, and this man said, I usually start my classes on September 11th with a little 5-minute clip of all the events that happened that morning for my classes to watch, right? It happened 17 years ago. If you are in high school right now, you may have been born.
Man. Crazy.
You may have been born when this happened. If
you
are in high school, if you are in the sweat hogs, you may have been born when this happened. Or if you're in high school, if you're a freshman or a sophomore or a junior even, you weren't even born yet when September 11th happened.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that crazy?
I still get crazy when I talk to little kids and I say Michael Jackson and they pause a little bit like, yeah, I know who that is. And I'll be like, whoa, there was a pause.
There was a pause. They have no
And I'm like,
idea.
oh, duh. Like,
right.
You're 5.
You're 5, yeah. What do you know? You know nothing, kid. Go do your history homework. Right. Learn something about
that's crazy, though.
Pop culture.
Of course, everybody, I don't know if when you have this day, I always feel some type of way, right? Because remember, I told you my mom passed away, and of course her birthday is right around this time too. Yeah. And so I'm more concentrating on mama than I am about even the holiday, right? Even though it's huge, but it's my mama, so my mama trumps.
No, of course.
Every last thing that was going on in the world. So so when people say or remember, like, where were you? And the funny thing is that you say it's that long ago, and I'm like, dang, I was working at Saltgrass Steakhouse. Was it that long ago that I was working at Saltgrass Steakhouse?
Apparently.
Like, my gosh.
What is a Sawgrass Steakhouse?
It's a restaurant.
A restaurant around here?
Yeah, I was waiting tables.
Oh, okay.
And I remember coming in, and I was the head trainer, right? Because when I go somewhere, I got to take over shit. Excuse me. But I do. So,
language.
I was like, I've never had a job before, and I started off as hostess, and my daddy said, watch out, because she's probably going to y'all going to fire her, or she's going to take all y'all jobs. That time when it was all over with, they fired me because I was taking everybody's jobs. But
it happens.
It happens. So I was waiting tables, and I was the head trainer. And so everybody, when I came in, I'm like, all right, y'all, get to setting up, roll silver, woo-woo, doo-doo-woo, woo-woo. Everybody watch the television. What is y'all doing? We
get to work.
We got, what I'm saying? And I'm paying no mind because remember, I just lost my mama. So my mind is in a whole different.
You're trying to throw yourself into work and try to distract.
Make it happen. And I'm like, would y'all get off the... What's going on here?
Stop watching that movie.
What's going on? That's exactly what I was like. What movie
usually
is
what
this?
People are thinking. Yeah.
What's going on with this?
Stop watching that movie.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh wait, this is no work got done on that day. Like it was literally people going from. Come on in, sweetie. Going from the television to like their table. So they're like, are you thirsty?
Wow. Yeah.
Y'all good at table 12? Y'all good? Okay, cool. And then
I'll give you the update in a minute.
Right. And they right back at the television. And everybody was cool because they was watching the television from whatever table they trying to watch from far away. So it was just
of course.
It was just a crazy day,
yes,
for emotion wise for me.
I can imagine.
All over
How
the
did
place.
San Antonio take Like, I mean, I'm sure as the rest of the nation went, so did
Yeah.
San Antonio. But
I don't know.
like,
How
was
did
there
we
a specific
take it? I know
that you noticed? You know what? We have somebody here that might
That
be able
probably
to.
have. I told you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm clear. I'm so foggy with it because every year is my mom's celebration, right?
Right.
So every year I'm like, oh yeah, 9/11 happened, but my mama died.
All right, we have a guest here today, guys. So we're going to take a quick break,
Yes.
and we will be right back with
With that lady.
It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Pre-diabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
That trip on that?
Yeah, but it's okay.
We're
Don't worry
back.
about it. Don't worry about it. We're not. Are we? We're back.
I saw things happening.
Hold on. And then I think we have to turn this one off. I think. Hello.
Hello,
And hello. I just want to make sure. We switch to here. Can you still? Yes. Okay.
All right.
We're back.
For real. We're back for real.
back
And my girl Rosie is in the building. I just want you to introduce yourself because that's, what you're running for, what's going on,
All right.
all that good stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rosie Gonzalez. I'm a local attorney. I do family law, board certified in child welfare law. I'm a drug court attorney. And I happen to be running for judge of Bexar County Court at Law number 13. It's a domestic violence misdemeanor case court.
I was right.
My old job. No.
I was like,
Which one of those?
right. All of them. Rosie's done a
I don't know.
a
You
lot
said
of
you work
stuff.
at a steakhouse? Oh, no, that was
No,
you.
that was me.
Sorry.
That was both. Yeah.
I worked at Caruso's a long time ago. I'll own up to that. That was a great family to work for here in
Caruso's.
Hey, yeah.
What's Caruso's?
Caruso
It sounds like a
family
pizza
used to-
spot.
They used to own a place called Caruso's Restaurant. at
Caruso's
Borsbach
Restaurant.
and Babcock, and they used to have the best Italian lunch special in town.
All right.
Yeah.
See,
I had to
she
go-
said I'll own up to that.
I'm
Hey,
gonna have to go check 'em
we
out.
did all, especially in the entertainment world. They had that whole incident with our boy from the Cosby Show that was working in.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he.
Ain't no shame in a good job working
I
hard.
mean,
Absolutely.
especially in the entertainment business. Like
Right.
until you get big, you have to do side gigs like that. Wait tables, do whatever,
I've got friends that
bartend.
are counselors, teachers, professionals, and their side gigs are working at Paisanos at night, or
Yeah.
they're at driving an Uber or Lyft.
Oh yeah. That's one of the big things people always say. Shoot, if you need something, you got a car, Uber something, Uber Eat, Uber people. Uber.
Just Uber.
Yeah.
Just Uber.
The great thing about I did a little bit of research into that once just to see because when I'm driving around in New York City, or when I was anyway, you would see these massive signs on the back of buses and train stations and stuff. Make $10,000 a month driving Uber.
10,000.
So I was like, can that be real? So I started like looking. I mean, I didn't need to. I needed that particular job, but $10,000 a month, I might have to quit my go ride people
Uber,
around.
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
So I started researching, like, can this be real? And the truth of the matter is, it actually is. It's a you're not gonna make $10,000, but it's a great I need money fast kind of gig. But as a long-term option, it's terrible. Because you don't get money for your
So it's like a
car.
payday loan, but without having to turn over your title.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. Yeah, basically, you don't like long term. Your car depreciates daily.
Yeah.
And there's no like, okay, if I made $400 this week, great, but I made 400. Yeah, but
I need an oil change. My tires are flat.
I need,
No,
right.
really.
So in
Yeah.
the long run, it's great, quick money. But somebody did the math, and it's something like you actually only really make like 40 cents an hour, like as a profit.
Oh, wow.
As a profit for your family.
Your windfall take home is 40 cents.
It's like 40 cents an hour
after the
you,
gas, after the maintenance, after your
the
time.
gas and yeah. So it's great for a quick kind of like, hey, I
Well,
need
if
some money
somebody
this
was
week,
just
but
about to get all excited,
maybe
to go
not long
Uber,
term.
how you want that dream?
But you know what? I work
crazy.
downtown, and parking has become an extinct animal. And your county employees are having to walk 4 or 5 blocks from King William or other streets, blocks from downtown, because the parking's like $20-$30 a day.
Okay, so that's one. So I'm not from the area, right? And everybody knows. Everybody that watches us or has been watching for the past few months knows I'm not from here. That is the one thing that I don't understand so far. Like here in San Antonio and in Austin, the parking is almost, not quite, but almost comparable to New York City parking. It's ridiculous. Okay, one time in New York City, I remember working. I didn't have to pay for it. But I remember one time going to a shoot where I had to pay. We were there for 2.5 hours, and the parking was $50-something.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, but wait. I went to downtown to file some paperwork real quick. I was in there for 25 minutes maybe, and my parking bill was like $17.
Yeah.
Why do I have to park for the entire day?
Right.
If I'm only gonna be in here for 20 minutes.
So this is why this is why
that's
events downtown are not successful.
okay.
Because people, first of all, don't even want to pay $10 cover. I sure as hell don't want to pay no $20 parking.
Just to
You
put
hear
my
what I'm
car
saying?
right there for a little while.
Like if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
paying
yeah.
for parking, I better be seeing somebody famous. Like literally
Even still,
famous.
Even
And they need to
still.
be so awesome.
right.
Like the
Right.
best show of my life, because that's
Right.
gonna be one of the complaints. I had to drive down there, I had to find parking, I had to pay $20-something for parking, then I had to walk to wherever I was. So there's so many buildups.
I think the city's getting a little bit better about providing a shuttle service from the was it parking
shuttle
ride?
service. Look,
But
like
people are still averse to it. It's like still a
Yeah.
foreign concept to
It
a lot
is.
of people.
It is.
And there's still that, I think it's more of a Texas attitude about autonomy. It's like riding in on your own horse. You want to be driving in your own car.
People want to be
car.
their own.
Yeah.
I don't
want
want to drive to a bus.
I don't want to wait on nobody.
But
That's weird.
That's
It's a
what I'm
weird
saying. They
situation.
want to come downtown and have
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
luxury
Right.
of getting here when they want
Right.
to
and leaving when they
want
want
to.
to. This is the key is leaving.
Leaving when
I
you
don't
want
have
to.
no problem riding with 6 people
get
to
there.
get wherever we need to go. But when I'm ready to go,
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Like
Okay.
I don't want to wait.
Oh, you that one.
'Cause sometimes I'm
I am
gonna
so
want
that
to
way.
go real quick.
I'm just saying.
Sometimes
I
I'm gonna
gots to
wanna
get outta
stay
here.
till the
So
next
that was
day.
my
Yeah.
co-host when I was on KTFM. Shout out to Robin Flores, man. This fool, he had a go the bathroom leave, right? So he had 2 trips to the bathroom. One was an actual trip to the bathroom, and the other one was a fake trip to the bathroom, but it was really to the car. Because you know how it is when you leave and people know you. It takes 25 minutes to leave.
I suppose, yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. People are like, oh,
But why
bye,
can't you
bye,
just? Oh,
bye,
yeah.
bye.
And if you don't,
hey, I
if
tell you
you
something
don't
real
say
quick.
bye to somebody,
then you're
their
a certain
feelings
way,
are hurt for
right?
months.
And so
But
it
if
always
you're going to the bathroom,
and
you don't say
someone
bye to
always-
anybody.
But right, his point.
No, I get that you don't.
So
that was his,
there's
his
one
method out.
that right. He goes towards the bathroom. You're like, oh, he's just going to the bathroom again, and right before everybody whoops, and he says, shoop shoop, out the back door on that ass.
The window.
Yes.
I hope there's something I can stand on out there.
He never comes back from the bathroom, and he'll even say, man, I'm going to the bathroom, I'll be right back. But he's not. If he's already been to the bathroom once, that second one is the exit. I learned it after about 3 months. I was like, oh, dude.
I'm catching up.
I got you now. Yeah, that was his extra trap. But I get it, because every time you leave, I'm telling you, the people, 82 people want to say bye.
Right.
Somebody wants to ask a question, like right when you're about to leave. Can I ask you a question real quick? Yes.
What's your question? Purple or green?
Right.
What? I have to pee, man.
Is that gold? Purple,
Oh, yeah.
green, the color of the dress.
All kind of stuff. I've been here for 3.5 hours. I'm leaving, and now you want to ask me a question. Like, damn.
Laurel or Yanny? I'm going to go pee, and I'll be back, and I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I will not let you know.
Anyway, what's going on, people? We're just over here yapping.
Enjoying the day. All right, so you are running for, is this your re-election or?
No, I am a challenger. There is an incumbent that sits on the bench now.
Okay.
She's been there almost 4 years.
Okay.
So she and I ran against each other in 2014. It was an open bench, and it was a close race.
Okay.
And I think that everyone deserves a chance to perform.
Of course.
I believe that to those who much is given, much is expected.
Sure.
And I want to propose that we innovate that court rather than just maintain the status quo. And the way I want to propose we innovate it is that we integrate a solid component of drug court within domestic violence court. All the data, all the research is clear. It shows that a majority of those cases coming into domestic violence courts include substance abuse. It's alcohol, it's cocaine, it's meth, it's one or a combination of the three.
Okay.
And if we can eliminate the fuel to the action, which is the violence, we dry that up, then you're going to see the violence fall off the wayside. And so when you have a sober defendant, you have a healthy family, and when you have healthy families, you have a safe community.
I love it.
And so I think it's just a natural progression of a sequence of events, but we have to set that in motion, and it has not been set in motion. And I think that if when I'm elected, my number one priority is to set that type of programming in that court in motion.
Sometimes you don't think of as a voter, okay? A lot of times we only the thing that drives us or motivates us to get to a poll in November is really just the headline-y kind of stuff, right? All the stuff that you see on the news, all this, who's going to be the senator, who's going to be the, and we rarely take into account, or sometimes even seriously, the idea that, this is where you also get to pick judges. This is also where you get to pick council people on the local level. This
where
is
you
also
actually vote
where you get
things
to pick
into law, like
aldermans and comptrollers.
In this particular cycle, you're going to be picking folks that are going to be representing us in D.C. You're going to be picking leadership at the state level, at the county level, and you're going to be looking at some proposals in the change of the city charter. We're currently right now for a population that is in a congressional district from here to far west, the largest district. Square mile wise, Gallego is he's our Democratic candidate. That's why I know the name. And against the Republican candidate filling in the former Senator Udesti's spot. So right now we have early voting for that, and then we have another election coming up in November. The big one, the big dance.
The big dance.
And they also have it's been big in the conversation. The Firefighter Association.
That's part of what's going to be on the ballot in November.
So the Firefighter Association wants to add an amendment to
the city charter.
And so you got to vote on whether that is something that we want to do something that we want.
Is this amendment a referendum, or is this amendment
Was
just
it
voting
about
for
pay?
the people in?
I thought it was about pay.
And then they
It's
vote.
about defining and limiting the roles of city leadership and how that affects those types of groups.
Right.
Firefighters, SAPD.
Right.
And whether they can actually make those types of decisions, or whether
Sorry,
it has to
I'm
go
sorry.
to the general public, the voting public, to make those decisions.
Right. But when in a lot of it, when it boils down to it, it's money too, right? So whether they want to get more money for this or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation, but it's also a city. They're helping us. They're here working for us. So it's whether, like she said, do we get the say so of what's going on with them, or can they go ahead and decide and have more of independent decision making? So it is a good thing to think about, because again, they're working for you, so it's your dollars, your tax dollars, and all these things that are going towards. So if they say, hey, whatever, maybe down the line, I don't know exactly what, I have to literally go read some stuff because I've seen a lot of things, but say they want more money or in a certain area, or whatever, higher insurance or something like that.
And it's as simple as, do you want to have the ability to, for lack of better words, micromanage the city budget as individuals, or do you want to trust your city council person to be able to make those types of decisions without having to keep checking back in with the constituent on every decision regarding the budget?
Right, regarding the budget.
And what is interesting about that too, on a local level, funnily enough, I can see both sides of what the pros and cons of something like that, because funnily enough, when you get down to the city level, most, I would honestly say, I'm not sure here in Texas yet, I'm still learning, everybody, but most municipalities on that very small level are really only ever run or moved by a handful of people. People are so disengaged when it comes to local government that only the 8 people that might show up to a city council meeting
know what's really going on.
know what's really going on, and will move the city that way.
I think that's been a long-standing and forever be a universal dynamic in human action. I mean, if you look historically at the major changes in civilization, whether it be cultural, technological, religion, it's been a very small number of people that start that motion of change in a different direction of where it is at that moment. And it's always been just a small handful of people.
And that's why they always say show up to stuff, because
if you want to be an agent of change, you got to show up.
And that's one of the first hurdles, and one of the things that most people count on, right? Well, we already know ain't nobody gonna show up, so we already know this is secure for us, or we can go ahead and do this and nobody's gonna ask any questions, because who's showing up to the meeting to say yes, no, or not, maybe not. So that's why the few people that might be on the opposing side of what anybody thinks, and they show up and they hear, and then they're appalled. Do you know where our money's going? Do you know what they're doing with this stuff? Do you realize what these people are doing? Nothing, whatever the case may be. And people are appalled, and they say, guys, please come and see for yourself. And then let's be action and vote, so where we can actually do stuff that helps the community and helps the people. Because a lot of times, and that's my biggest pet peeve, is programs and folks, they get funding and they get money and they get all these opportunities, but their passion is not to fix and change. It's not to go to the root of the problem, and say, this is the root of the problem, this is what we need to change. No, I'm eating at home, I'm making sure everything's good, my life is fine. And I'm running this program, so I'm doing my part. No, you're not, because nothing's changing. You're just taking the check. You're counting heads. You're, that's the problem, but that won't change unless people show up.
See, and you pointed out that, I don't see people motivated to come out and vote. One of the interesting pieces of information about Bexar County is that on average, party division, Democrats out-register to vote Republicans on a 3-to-2 scale. Now that might have changed recently. I haven't heard of it change, but that's been the anecdotal information to everyone. So then where it stops making sense is in voter turnout, because when the
Because if
voter
we
turnout
register more, but we turn out less.
correct, and so that's the $1 million question. What is happening that someone will register to vote and be able to vote, but then doesn't vote?
Yeah.
But like I said the other night on the show, somebody asked me, how important is voting? I said, well, but voting's like bathing. You don't got to vote.
Right.
You can. You have the right to vote. You have the right to bathe.
Right.
But if you stop bathing,
Right.
it's gonna become
Eventually
a problem.
affect you. It's eventually going to affect you and the stuff around
You're gonna be in a stinky situation.
Same thing with voting.
Same thing with voting.
You stop voting, guess what? We're gonna find ourselves in a bad, awfully stinky situation.
Right. You're
Because
right.
the
100%.
we've given up the control.
Yes.
And someone else is now in power, and we find ourselves at a loss as to how to fix it. Does that sound familiar to you right now?
All I know is that, and I don't know where anybody stands on this, period, but all I know is that when it comes to money, you need to ask questions. Don't let anybody just spend money.
Well,
I don't know. That's just me. I like
Right.
if you had an accountant, you would like make sure that all the money was correct. You would check in on it. It could be your own business. But
Right.
if you had an accountant that knew that you never checked your books and you just trusted him, do you really think?
I think with that kind of situation, it's interesting. I don't know where I would fall on that law and that change to the charter. I'm not sure where I would fall, because based on the circumstance, based on its situation, what it is, then yeah, you would think, well, yeah, people need to know what you're spending money on before you end up spending money on it, right? So keep going. But on the flip side of that, based on the circumstance where people aren't engaged in the same 8 people are going to city council meetings, right? Do you just want to set society off? Since society is really disengaged, do you want to promote, do your homework once every 2 years? Make sure that you know who you're voting for, and then trust that person to do their thing. And if not, 2 years later, you got to go. But if you're going to be disengaged for the process, at least do your homework once every 2 years and make sure you put somebody in there that you can trust.
And part of that,
I think. I mean, I don't know.
And part of that, I'm going to tell you, there was a former councilman. His name was Pete Torres.
Okay.
He was the first Latino candidate to get elected to city council without getting the anointment of the Good Government League. And that they play a huge role in the politics of the 20th century here in San Antonio.
Okay.
And he used to say, we voted you in, and we can vote you out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think that holds true. But the operative word in that whole assumption is vote.
Yeah.
Is the word
it's
vote.
the word vote.
We're assuming you're going to
here's
vote.
the thing.
Indeed.
The same people, just like you said, the same. And I'm going to play the opposite, because I'm like, yeah, I feel you. But the same people, the same 8 people that go to the meetings are the same percentage of people that vote also. Like, usually the people who vote. Like, if you vote every year, you are the ones that vote every year. That, to me, doesn't change. We got to get to the people who don't vote, and we're not talking about people who vote one time and then didn't vote in this one and maybe voted in this one. They're active in something.
Right.
But there's a whole lot of people that ain't active in none of it.
Right.
Just none of it
They're
whatsoever.
busy working. They're busy raising families. They're apathetic. There's a whole
apathetic.
long list
There's
of
a
reasons
whole-
why
or
they don't
are
vote.
they think
I think
that they
apathy
don't?
is the number one cause, though. I don't think we're all so busy. I think most of it is the apathy.
So you think the omission of voting is actually a statement in protest in itself? To not vote is to express your apathy with it.
Probably either that, or I don't care so much because nothing's gonna change. Like hopelessness.
So this is okay. So this is my question.
Like,
so
nothing's gonna change anyway. I'm not gonna take my day off.
This
to
is
go
where
and
my
do
head's
something,
at.
and that's
I'm
gonna
like,
happen.
where is the economic level of the people who are not voting or who are voting? Because that's what I feel like it is. I'm not.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna change. So why am I out here vote anyway? So I feel like the non-votes are coming from the people who are economically challenged.
Right, because they're
Your
the
middle
ones.
class
They're
is
the ones
voting.
that feel the most hopeless, right? If you have something, then
me,
there's still hope.
I feel like
if you're rich, there's hope in the monster.
I feel like your middle class people are voting, and I feel like your shall they say upper, whatever
But is it
financially are voting.
Is it financial status or is it educational level?
Well, I think it's both.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I think it's a mixture of both, because I think that the people who are still smart but are struggling feel the same way of people who are ignorant of the stuff but are struggling. That struggle has the same language. And it starts with an F.
Lights off, lights getting cut off, feel the same way whether you're middle class or you're unemployed.
Whatever your educational level is, whether I graduated from school or not, when my lights are off, we all in the same.
We're all in the same dark room.
The same dark room, right? So whoever this vote and whatever this, it's not immediate enough. It's not Uber money enough, for me to care, right? So that's what I feel like. So I feel like if we want to up the actual voting process, we need to get to the people who feel a little bit more hopeless.
Now, do you feel? And I'll use this word because it's a word that's often used in. When kitchen cabinets meet and in the war room of campaigns, the issues being sexy. If they're not sexy enough, people aren't going to pay any attention. If it doesn't affect them directly, they're not going to have a vested interest in the outcome of that particular election.
Right. Well, I think I agree with the education part of what you just said.
I do, because it connects all of that.
But I think it's what education, right? Because I could be an astrophysicist and have no idea how civics work. And really not care, right? And not care, how it affects my life.
And not knowing how it's connected. And that ends up on all levels. So I'm voting for this, but understand that this is connected to this, which is connected to this. So I always, when I'm talking about getting people to vote more with judges, I mean, let's think about it. A lot of times when you're in court, you're in a bad situation. Right? I'm thinking about people who might be in these bad situations. This is why you need to go vote, because if you already have had kids that have had to go in front of a judge, that judge literally decided whether or not your kid gets rehabilitation or whether he gets incarceration.
Let's talk about regular people that get traffic tickets, or maybe you're a property owner that gets cited for your grass being too high. Yes. You're going to go down to municipal court. And I'm going to say, not knowing my statistics, half of the people will want to challenge that ticket, half of the people won't. For those that want to challenge their citation, they're going to be in front of a magistrate. Those magistrates at the city level are judges that are appointed by city council. So it's important that if you want a change in the face and performance of your magistrates, that you understand that those magistrates are appointed by your city council person.
Right.
So it's important that you go out and you vote for the right city council person
that
that's going to understand why it's important to you to have the right magistrates down on Frio Street.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the county. If you are one of these folks that lives on the periphery, out near the Glen or way south Bexar County, and you're relying on county resources and county services, it's important to you that you pick the right county commissioner that's responsive to his constituents out in the county. And so we're all affected in one way or another. You don't have to be a perpetrator of domestic violence, or a victim of domestic violence. You don't have to have your children removed by Child Protective Services, or be charged with a crime, or be in the middle of a divorce
for you to understand that you need to vote your judges,
and that you need to be vested in the process of voting and civic duty.
And that's where I believe the education is. So it's literally linking, because everybody can be connected in some way, whether it's on the wrong side of the table or just a simple grass neighborhood association type situation. So in your average day to your a little bit dramatic day, there's a reason why you need to go vote for your judges.
Let's connect this for a second to the national conversation, guys. Okay, and this is how I'm going to kind of link this to the sexy conversation that's happening in the country right now, right? Nika and I have said in the past that that on some level we need to be able to stand up and not be the victim all the time, the same way that people with money are always the victim, right? So in a situation where there might be some racism or there might be some kind of social injustice, they're going to pick up the phone and call the police right away. Why can't we pick up the phone and call the police right away? We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So in this situation, I'm going to tie this to a national conversation that's happening so that you can see that you personally have the same power as someone like the president, right, of the United States of America. So part of the conversation that's happening on a national level is that he gets to choose his Supreme Court, justice, right? This is the second one that he's going to choose, and he's going to, change the face of not change, but like ensure the conservativeness of the highest court in the land for probably until the 2050s, if you can look at it like that, right?
Oh my gosh.
Till the 2050s.
Look at me, I'm
right?
like, oh my gosh.
Because these people are appointed for life, or until they decide, I don't want to do this anymore, right?
Right.
Okay, so because of his situation right now, what he's doing is he's looking for judges, right? Or he's looking for Kavanaugh. When he was searching for the judge to assign, he was looking for somebody who would be sympathetic to a sitting president's issues, right? Executive powers or issues, right? Can you indict a sitting president is one of these questions that, people are asking. So it's really up to lawmakers, number one, but also judges to then either uphold or shoot down these kind of situations. So in a situation where this man might get indicted for any kind of crime, which there are current multiple investigations into his actions over this, you want a judge that's sympathetic to your issue if you're the president, right? Like, I'm the president, maybe I don't want to be indicted right now. Can you make sure that I don't get it, or can you uphold
it's real
this
simple.
law
in
or
our,
uphold
in
that
our,
law?
In our present day, as we're living that drama and as it unfolds before us, it's the question, should anyone in this country be above the law?
Right, so that's the question.
Should an individual, because he or she sits in the highest office of our land, be immune and protected from prosecution, from indictment, from being confronted with an allegation solely on the basis that they sit in the office of the president?
And to me, that
so what I'm getting at with that whole bit of diatribe there, what I'm getting at is that these are the people that know how to use civics and law to get what they need out of life, right? You also have the ability to use civics and law to get what you need out of life. And by voting, you get to ensure that you are choosing your judges, whether you're choosing councilmen that will then appoint those judges, or you're choosing judges themselves. You have the power as well. And all you have to do is go out and vote. And do a little bit of research into who would be best for your life, and then vote for those people. And we have one right here that is telling you this.
Yeah. You know what's great? And I would like, in a perfect world in my head, we're not just going out and voting, but we're training up and supporting those who we want elected. So we see a young kid that is interested in politics, and we latch on and we give him all the information that he needs and the suits that he needs to wear, or he or she, or you know what I'm saying, and and make sure that they are prepared and knowledgeable for that seat, and put them in that seat and do that stuff, because then together as a community, instead of it being, because that's what people do.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When people, they say they've been in families. Oh, I'm gonna see what's a name? What's a good name? That's an example. Bush, right?
Yeah.
That's what they do. They train up the next politician and to think the way we think, to keep things the way,
groom them.
Absolutely, the way that we want things to go.
Yep.
And so they have been grooming their politicians and putting them in seats since the beginning. Right?
George
so
Washington
at some point, we've got to understand that we can do this as well, and we can do it at a larger scale.
We can do it from a very altruistic angle. And what I mean by that is, there's a school of thought, spiritually and religiously, that when we take action, that when we create something, that's as close as we come to God, because God in that omnipotent power created from day one, created earth, created the stars, created the moon, created the oceans, created man and woman.
Yeah.
And so in our acts, in our action, we have an opportunity to create something wonderful. Our environment, the communities we live in,
right,
by virtue of our vote, by taking action.
We really can. I totally agree. So I don't know. We were talking about it on the show the other day. What can you do as an individual to make sure that someone else is voting? You know, picking 10 friends and saying, let me just make sure everybody's registered, because registration to vote is up October the 3rd. So we need to be all registered to vote before October the 3rd. Right. So that's the first step, right? Making sure everybody around you, everybody register to vote. Now maybe you're going to have a friend that is, why should I? You know, have something that's not a long dissertation, but but a quick whatever. She was talking about bathing, you know. Somebody else might say just Trayvon Martin, you know, start saying names of people who can no longer vote because their vote was taken from them.
Vote in their name in honor of them.
Vote in their name in honor of them, you know. So different things that you can say to people that are saying, why should I? Why should I be part of this?
And I, without boring them, the conversation at some point has to be, in those circumstances, we want law enforcement to be not only look different so that they reflect their communities, but be trained differently so that they're sensitive to the communities they serve. That training, that selection process of law enforcement, first responders in our community, that's funded by city budgets, by county budgets.
Right.
And again, we go back to whoever you elect to be your leader locally is going to be making the decisions that affect
where that
us
money goes
every day,
Right.
on the streets at night, you know, just in everyday interactions with our municipal first responders and city employees and county employees.
Everybody's government
you were
needs
just
to
talking
reflect
about
the communities. This is, and they don't always. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we were talking. I can't remember the gentleman's name that came in that we interviewed. That was his position that did the special election, because that's what their position does. They decide where the money goes to.
Gallego.
In the city. Yeah. So it's like, yes, we're gonna put that here and put that there. You know. Right. And again, different votes. Last year we voted on, you know, how if we wanted the city money to fix up our cities in different areas, you know, and how that was.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the controversies include, like right now, the Alamo Plaza is a city controversy. You know, monuments to Confederate quote unquote heroes. That's still a very hot topic button if it's put into the stream of today's topics, you know, and it's under the radar right now, but it surfaces really quick. Right. Whenever that time. So all of that, you know, are those things important? Yeah, they're as important as which streets get their potholes paved first, who gets their trash picked up at what rate and how often. You know, whether there's going to be red lights in certain municipalities to track you when you don't come to a complete stop or run a red light. That's a whole new hot topic that just got thrown on the radar by Governor Abbott yesterday. Yeah. Because he says he's going to promote something about getting rid of those red light cameras. And they're usually used in municipalities that don't have enough to fully staff maybe a police department, so that they can have some assistance and safety on the streets.
Right.
But, you know, all of that is so, you could talk for hours about any one of those subjects.
I mean, and I'm going to tell you, and no disrespect to any of this stuff, like, I understand why people don't get involved, because if you're not interested, it's pretty... I'm not gonna say boring, but I'm gonna say boring, man. I was in a meeting one day,
and they was sexy, as she said. You know, it's not sexy.
We was in a meeting one day, a neighborhood association meeting, 20 minutes about a street. I was like, dog, can y'all fix the street? By the time this meeting's over, I can go fix the street. Just go. But it was the law, and they were arguing, and it was a street and potholes, and it was.
That's because you're looking at 2, 3, 5 people that have a dog in that fight, and fixing the street now may take something away from somebody who's fighting for no.
And the crazy thing is somebody will say, who cares about fixing the street until your house is on that street and your car is getting messed up because the tire's running over it and you have a flat tire twice a month. Right. Then fix my damn street.
You know, right. You know who doesn't argue about fixing potholes? Dominion. or any of those other
because they're fixed.
moneyed places.
Because
they don't argue
they don't
about
even
it.
happen.
See, but then
It happens, but they're like,
like
hey, fix that,
it's
man,
a beginning
and clean
pot,
that up,
and
and we need to, you know what I mean,
Here's-
clean
but
this
there's
up, fix
also,
that.
you have to also look at tax rates.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge issue with folks. People don't want to pay higher taxes. They want to keep their tax base low, but they don't make. You're talking about making connections.
Yeah.
Well, it's the taxes that fund the money we need to pay for the gravel and the tar and the labor and the salaries and.
But then we'll have tax money that goes and salaries that get risen. I mean, I'm just speaking. You know, our city manager makes more than the president and got a raise this year, and that's a lot of money.
I agree.
She make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot
and
of
then
potholes that could get fixed.
Right.
So
I'm just pointing out, but it's the city council that actually decides what that woman's paycheck is. Am I not correct?
Okay.
This is a lot, man. It makes me tired.
Okay, so
what's before us right now in less than 60 days and 50-something days is this November election. So why should we vote November 6th is the big question, right?
Well, most people, I've just been saying because of Trump, like that. Well, right? Vote for anything. Like, I feel like he's a big example of why not caring or just assuming someone's going to get elected or just assuming something's going to happen is a reason why you at least need to put your foot in the race and put the hat in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, throw your hat in the ring. You're running for judge. What makes a great judge?
I think it's not one thing. It's a variety of things. Judicial temperament. You can't have someone up there that is going to be sensitive to, and maybe not even discriminate based on this lawyer is being rude to the judge or the defendant is acting a certain way, or they may lean in a certain direction. And they make it evident from the bench. So you want someone with a good judicial temperament. You want someone that can be fair and just, and not judge a defendant or their attorney a lot of times based on prior history or based on how they look or based on certain biases I have in my personal history against a certain type of person or individual. You want someone that's going to not judge until all the evidence is heard and presented. You want someone that's going to allow you your constitutional right of presumption of innocence until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by the state entity, by the prosecutors. A lot of times you'll get what we call prosecutorial judges on the bench. Those are individuals that have not represented a lot, they represent the interests of the government, the state, and they prosecute based on the codified law. And it's hard to get out of that training mode to zealously prosecute those cases. And you put on a robe and you're no longer a prosecutor, but you've been a prosecutor 10 years. You've been a prosecutor 15 years or longer. So how do you change that paradigm of thinking? I think it's a very difficult thing to do. Same thing with my particular campaign isn't taking any contributions from anyone. Okay?
Right.
From lawyers, from individuals, from PACs. We haven't taken a dime. Whatever money's been spent on my campaign has come out of my pocket, my household pocket, and the pocket of Stacy Lynn Speedlin, who happens to be my wife. And so I don't want to take a chance of anyone ever questioning my integrity because they know that attorney A gave me $500 on my to my campaign. That attorney A has a defendant before me, and whether I treated that defendant as harshly or as appropriately as it required is going to be questioned with the next person that didn't contribute to my campaign. And so I personally is a choice for me.
And let me tell you something.
Not taking
I don't care what
contributions.
anybody says. That is something that people look at because I know that there is, and I'll just be like nice and vague, but there's a certain company that donates to a certain dignitarian, you know what I'm saying, in the campaign and whatever consistently. And they just always seem to be the company that always gets all the contracts. And you'll be like, dang, why do they get all the contracts? But if you follow the money and then you see that they contribute to the person who is over that hires, their office hires the stuff. I mean, you can call it a coincidence.
Even in arguments that contributions are innocuous, it's like, no, when someone or a company makes a contribution to a candidate, even at its most unthreatening way, it still is asking for at least access to that candidate, to that official.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? I want you to listen to us. That's access.
Yeah.
But why should I listen to you more than I listen to someone that did not contribute to my campaign?
Because you have the ability to give me this money. And that's exactly what I look at when I see them contracts. So this guy gets all the contracts because he has the ability to get, I don't care if it's a couple of $100.
It buys access. Some people feel that. I'm sure that some elected officials feel that pressure. Like, okay, well, this person gave me it, and there's going to be somebody, an old campaign manager or somebody that's going to say, "Hey, this guy gave you a bunch of money. At least you give him 5 minutes." Okay.
Yes.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
Because at the end of the day,
there's an obligation
as
there.
a business. I always get, "Why are you so nice to them?" Because they buy advertisement every month, right?
That's human nature.
Because they feed, they keeping these lights on, they're helping us continue. So yes, when I see advertisers and support people who actually put money, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, right? So I get that, I get it, and it's amazing that it's just something else to look into.
But and there's different types of elected officials. Should the judiciary be insulated from that? Should we have to continue to announce what party we're running for? Should we be forced to raise monies to be able to have a platform to run on in a campaign? Or should we as judicial candidates be insulated and not required to do that so that we don't taint the robe with bias, or we don't taint the robe with an opportunity to question the integrity of the court from someone that's looking at contribution levels from certain individuals or sections of the community.
Absolutely. A lot of the judges that I talk to or that I've heard talk will be like, I don't want to be in here as a Democrat or a Republican. It's more about the law and being just and being fair for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And so I like to hear that. I don't want to hear, well, I'm a Democratic judge, so like the party really, especially when we're talking about people who are deciding people's futures, party shouldn't matter.
But and on the other side of that argument is this, that individuals out there, they'll argue, would like to know what party you're affiliated with. For this reason, there was a book written several years ago by Keeler Garrison where he describes a family of 4 coming down a highway down the Mojave Desert in the middle of the night, and their car breaks down.
Okay.
And in his little vignette story, he says, and they see these 2 headlights about 10 minutes after their car breaks down. It's pitch dark. They see these 2 headlights down at the horizon coming closer to them. Okay. And he finishes his story by asking the reader a question. Who do you hope is in that car, a Democrat or a Republican? So for some people, it really matters, because to them, that's going to tell them something about that individual's behavioral propensities.
Right.
That's
the flip side of it shouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because yesterday we were having a conversation about there was an individual who got shot by a police officer in his home, and there's an update to that too. But one of the things that they always talk about when they talk about people in the news is like, oh, he was a churchgoer, and we were talking about that yesterday, and we were saying, well, why do they always do that? And then the idea when we wrapped that conversation was, well, because it at least gives a person insight as to the morality, that
he believes in something.
He or she believes in something, whether it's same as you or not, but that they have some kind of moral compass. Good, bad, or indifferent. There's something there, and I think on the political side, like you were just saying in that book, maybe that's the point, right? That to the observer, at least there's some sort of
there's a connection,
moral thing that you may share or you may not share, depending on who's coming down that road based on your politics. Do you believe that the judicial, the robe should be a political at all times? Like from election to retirement, should it be completely apolitical?
I think that's a perfect world. You know, I think
but
that's
you
something.
put people in it.
You know, and then you put people in it. No. But you know, I think people that we're human nature is to have preferences. Okay. Human nature is to like and not like. You know, from, you know, I as a child, do you like milk or you don't like milk? You know, as a child, do you like certain veggies you don't like? And we start to discriminate on the most basic level at a very young age. And that, you know, how we start to discern things is really how we're trained as children. You should discern based on a certain flavor or a certain look or a certain feeling. Yeah. And how we mold our future is going to depend on how we judge each other. You know, so it's also interwoven. In a perfect world, it would be great not to have to declare a party. It would be great not to have have to take contributions if you believe contributions are a key to a successful campaign. I don't happen to believe that. So I believe that it's people that elect people. I don't believe signs. I don't believe T-shirts. I don't believe bumper stickers elect people. I don't believe door hangers or push cards elect people. They all end up in the same place after a campaign. At our landfill creating methane. And so I think if we take individual responsibility for our everyday actions, for me, that means my campaign is social media based. You'll see our stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. You'll see me talking to people at events. You'll see me come and share opinions and knowledge and engage in community conversation with people.
And that's actually, and you say that, but I would say that the platform is social media gauge, but there's a lot of different pieces to it because the people that support her are almost the flyers and the billboards, in a sense, because if I tell you I'm voting for Rosie, I would like for you to look into her, and you have value in me, you're either going to be like, okay, or I'm about to go look into it. So again, people,
that word of mouth is
vote.
Very
you know,
powerful.
it's more powerful than anything because of who you trust, and you trust your people. I mean, I literally sent a message out about Rosie, and I had someone tell me, well, I don't know who this is, but you got my number, so she got my vote. Because he doesn't give his number out to many people. So even though I always have different numbers, so he didn't have the new one saved. It was like, you can connect to me. So that means
you have access to
we have
me.
Access. Yes.
It's all about access.
Right. It's all about access.
That's exactly right. And it was like, boom, cool. So I agree with you definitely in that people do elect people. And I think that every time I've heard the numbers of the amount spent on the presidential level, how much money they spend on commercials and signs and stuff. I'm like, every school
billions
could be,
of dollars now
every
to be
school
president.
Could be fixed.
Billions of dollars.
You know what
president.
I'm saying?
Right.
Every kid could have a book. I feel like every street could
get
paid.
Every kid could have a tablet, you know?
Every kid could have a scholarship.
Amen.
Like with the money that they spend just on advertisement alone. And now the money that we're spending on investigation through advertisement on this level. Ridiculous. Like we literally could just change the world with the money that's just being flown in ridiculousness right now. So I definitely agree on the fact that, man, if they didn't have to buy that stuff, if that wasn't the platform, because I feel like if one day somebody for president was like, I'm not doing a campaign, instead I'm taking all the money and I'm getting scholarships for this many kids and I'm rebuilding this school, like, you won. I feel like they're gonna win because people can see it's not about telling us what you're doing, you're actually doing something in front of us, and everybody wants to see that. That's why we love LeBron for building a school. He didn't tell us about the school he built, he showed it to us after it was built. This is where kids are gonna go. We love you, you know what I'm saying? So, and every time somebody does something, what do they say? What's their line? LeBron for president, or that person for president, because they are the example.
They are the walking manifestation, right?
Yes, of what we need for change. So when is someone gonna do that?
And it goes back to the Dalai Lama saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's been in, whether it's in the news or something people may or may not have heard of, what is has there been a case that has gone in front of any bench where you thought to yourself, oh, that would have been a tough one if I was sitting there?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. These decisions on the bench are not, I can tell you, are not taken lightly by anyone that I've ever seen sit on a bench, or sits that I've witnessed sit on the bench now. I don't, whatever approach they take at it, is different from individual to individual. But I don't believe that there's anyone sitting there now that takes their job or their decisions lightly. Everything is serious. Everything affects that individual. And I make it clear to my clients. I say, hey, look, at the end of the day, it's your life. I'm here. I'm just a messenger. I'm here to facilitate a decision by you and educate you on the ramifications of whatever you choose to do with your case. At the end of the day, I get to go home, and you have to live out this order. You have to live out this agreement.
Right.
So
I'm like, she said, at the end of the day, I get to go home and you. But that's truth. I feel like if people talk truth to people, we would get further too.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Like be truthful, be up honest.
There is a brotherhood of the badge that everybody hears about when talking about police. Is there also one for judges and judgeship?
I think with every subgroup, judges are a subgroup of attorneys.
Okay.
Attorneys are a subgroup of a bigger population. Within attorneys, you have the Mexican American Bar Association. You have the Black Lawyers Association. You have the Criminal Defense Lawyers Association. And I think with every group, there's some level of insulation that the members of that group participate in, to honor their robe, to honor their profession, to honor their badge. And that's where the membership, that fellowship of membership and the benefits of that is having support amongst those who are like-minded or who you find some sort of commonality with. It's a natural human, I think, dynamic. So yeah, I think everyone, for whatever particular group you invest in, you protect.
Okay, so what is I guess you just gave us the pro of that. What do you think is the con of that? Of that, if there is a con to that.
The groupthink is the con of that. Okay. There's a danger in groupthink because with groupthink comes a blind loyalty. With groupthink comes we all have to be on the same page, regardless of what we as individuals may think or assess. That's the problem to the extreme, is a groupthink mentality.
I like it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's that. I'm Democrat, so I'm going to do it all the way down the road. I'm Republican, I'm going to do it all the
groupthink.
You have no idea what you just voted for.
Right.
On a regular level.
Do you agree with the idea, like as you go further up in judgeship, the Supreme Court, they refrain, I believe, from voting, as do senior officials in the FBI and CIA and stuff like that. They won't vote for their boss. Do you agree with the idea of abstaining from voting once you reach a certain level?
I've never heard that. I've never heard what you just proposed. And as I listen to you, I just feel if you're constitutionally guaranteed a right to engage civically as a private citizen, why not take that and exercise it? Okay. And that's as a private citizen. That's not as the director of the CIA. That's not as the 4-star general. That's not as a private in the Army or that, an agent within the Bureau. That's as a private citizen. Now, if you as a private citizen want to layer on some other reasons why you should or shouldn't vote, I think that's up to you.
Yeah, because I think everybody, even when you vote, you would think what it's all about access again, right? So if all my favorite people get in, you almost feel like I might have some access, even though you might not have none.
It might increase my chances of getting promoted,
my chances of doing
higher
certain
paid.
things. Yeah, because I could think of that too. I mean, even if there's people that are running that I know. You know, I might know one person better than I know the other one. So, you know, in my mind, I feel like my access increases, or whatever the case may be. It might not at all.
That's exactly why these guys, who was it? In and Out was in a little bit of not hot water, but they were some attention was brought to them
for their contribution.
Week back for the contribution. But they were like, but we contribute to everybody. Like, it wasn't just this contribution. We also contributed to his opponent. We had contributed to this one and their opponent. And the idea is to just spread the money around, because I'm gonna have access to one of these people that I just gave $500 to or $1,000 to, and it's worth it to me to put out $12 grand for guaranteed access to somebody. Which is.
But I'm gonna tell you,
but that's the way the game is played,
but
right?
when you have access and you've had it before, you don't want to lose it.
No, of course.
So that's exactly what you do. It becomes worth it because you don't want to lose it. And when the processes become easier, you know, because again, everything's you got to fill out this form and turn in this form and go talk to this person and pay this thing, and when the process becomes easier and it just becomes a phone call because you know the right person. Oh, you pay for that.
Direct line. You know?
One of the things,
you pay for that.
Part of the reason that I asked you about the brotherhood was because I wanted to see if I could get, if you want to say publicly or not, your opinion of Citizens United. Good idea, bad idea, indifferent, or I'd rather not.
Something like that's not going to ever come before my court. I mean, it's clear that. I cannot have an opinion on anything that would, if my opinion would jeopardize my ability to be fair and just from the bench.
Okay.
Citizens United is a case that the United States Supreme Court heard. It ruled on it. As a judge, we take an oath to uphold the law of the land. And so I would uphold the law of the land.
And you consider that settled law, so
it's not necessarily settled. To me, settled means time and time again it's been upheld.
Okay.
To me, it's definitely law.
Okay.
As doled out by the U.S. Supreme Court. That's their decision. And like I said, judges are sworn in to uphold the law. Does that mean as a private citizen we agree or disagree? We are encouraged by our ethics to not share that in a public forum. Sure. We could have very strong opinions, but we can't share that in a public forum where it might influence somebody's view of anything.
Okay. So I apologize for
no apology, but we're here to educate.
Right.
And a lot of times we see it a lot as judicial candidates in judicial questionnaires. And we get sent judicial questionnaires from Second Chance people, we get sent a judicial questionnaire by the League of Women Voters or by all sorts of different associations and organizations wanting to know our positions on certain matters and topics. And oftentimes we have to respond in a very innocuous, sort of flat. I'm unable to respond to your question because it's prohibited by, and they don't like that.
Right.
And so your point comes in to play, which is then come out and meet us. Then come out and talk to us one-on-one. Do your research on the candidate, because a course of conduct over a period of time tells you everything you need to know about a specific candidate or sitting elected official. Right. Just look at their history of engagement or non-engagement in the community. I invite everyone to come out tomorrow night. We're going to be at the Cove right after work. Tomorrow's the 12th. And it's a meet and greet for me. We're going to have some live music. Tommy Calvert will be out there. Retired Judge Juan Ricardo Chavita will be out there.
Ricky's going? No, I'm
the Democratic Party chair will be out there. It's being hosted by a mother-daughter team, Cheryl Rodriguez and Dr. Lori B. Rodriguez.
Love it.
And so it should be a good time, and it's open to the public. So the doors open to the meet and greet at 6 o'clock, and we will be there till 7:30. So come on out.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know, she stays busy because she still has her 18 jobs. when you care about folks, it becomes 18 jobs, right?
That's right. No, seriously.
I'm just saying.
You go from podcasts to work to court to lunch with your bar association. You come back and you're in court. I represent a lot of foster kids in the afternoon, or get an order in. Then I got to see clients from like 3:30, 4:30. Every 30 minutes, I'm seeing somebody new. Everybody thinks, and believes their case is the most important one in their life. And I got to make sure my clients are satisfied with what we're doing. And if they're not, I better fix it fast.
Sure.
Right.
And that's a day in the life of this particular attorney and candidate. Weekends are set aside to visit foster kids in foster care.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to drive as far as Denton or McAllen, and I use my Saturdays to go check in on my kids, and that has to come in between, the League of Women Voters Luncheon, and it has to come in between, Ciclovia, and it has to come in between Stacy speaking engagement, and it has to come in.
It's a lot.
The scholarship gala, and it's all things that for me in my particular life have always been in existence in my life. My life has always been hectic.
Yeah.
I was asked by the Express News what I was doing to campaign, what I was doing different during our endorsement interview. And I said, nothing different. I'm just doing what I've always done. I'm involved, and I'm as involved now as I was when I wasn't running for office. And I said, I think that speaks clearly to my commitment to community. I don't just show up during campaign cycles. I've always been there.
Here, right. And that's definitely, there's certain people out there that throw events, and I know all the churches feel me when I say them campaign cycles, man. I'll be like, Lord, because everybody wants to speak. Everybody wants to come get in front of you. Everybody wants to say, and you start feeling like,
where were you?
3
weeks ago?
Because this platform's been here, so you could have been coming in, or whatever the case may be. Or it's hard. I know people don't like it when one of the ladies mentioned on the other show, when people show up to the church,
right? And
it's like, you don't even stay for the service, or you don't even come and meet me, but you want to come to my church and tell me that I need to vote for you. But why? Right.
And you had another guest say, but that may be the only chance that an individual in that neighborhood gets to see a candidate.
Yeah, would be at the church.
Right.
So there's a fine medium in between that, right? So to me, if you're a candidate and you're going to go to somebody's church to use that platform, be respectful of everybody, and the best way to do that is stay for service. Meet and shake hands of the people after the service and say, thank you for allowing me to come speak to you at the church. Because that was what the one girl's problem was. You use, come vote for me, and now I'm just supposed to vote for you because you was in my church and pastor let you do that. So now you're at least combating it by, I stayed for service, I tithed. I went and tithed in your church, and I'm coming to shake your hand at the end to say, if you need more time or whatever, or if you would like to talk to me, these are a meet and greet that we're going to have, or my candidate's office that you can call. Because at the end of the day, people elect people. So if you're not going to talk to me like a person,
right,
then I don't know if you're going to have my vote.
Right. And so we have to balance that with new technology. We were talking about how I'm a paperless campaign, but we're using social media. We're asking folks, for those that are familiar with the Facebook platform, we're all given opportunities to kind of shine our cause in front of our profile pic with the profile frame. And so we have one up, and we're telling people, this is your new yard sign. This is your new virtual reality yard sign, and cyberspace is your new front yard. So use the frame. It says, I'm with Rosie, and it says, come, the position I'm voting for. And we're also putting up endorsement videos. We have 46 up right now, and we've reached over 32,000 viewers with those endorsement videos.
Beautiful.
So it's sharing information. We're having text parties, and we're messaging individuals as opposed to group messaging or forwarded messaging or mass texts. And those are being effective because we're reaching out one-on-one to people. Let me tell you, this weekend in particular, Text messaging gets past those dogs in the front yard when you go block walking. Text messages get past the locked door that someone doesn't want to open, or even if they're not home. Text messaging gets into that gated community. Text messaging goes out in the rain. And so text messaging isn't limited the way conventional reach out efforts are limited. Text messaging goes through the walls and
you
through
just have to
neighborhoods.
find people that believe in the message and are willing to share that message.
Text
with their
message
friends.
doesn't see a socioeconomic neighborhood, deprived neighborhood. Text message doesn't discriminate on your educational level, because a PhD is going to get the same text message that an 18-year-old just out of high school got. You know, so it just goes through all and foreseeable barriers. Other than if they don't have a cell phone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and nowadays
That's the biggest barrier.
everybody's got a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy. Well, look, speaking of the social media platform, let's show Rosie's page here. Definitely more information. You're invited to go to the Cove tomorrow. The time is from
6 o'clock.
6 to, hey, however long we can go. So it's going to be an exciting day, and I think that you'll have a great time. Live music, like I said, Tommy Calvert's going to be there.
Actually, a great time is not only thought of, it's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed
That's what
a good
I
time.
love. I love that. And so definitely want you to come out there. Again, follow Rosie. Ask questions. I mean, inbox if you need to ask any questions. If you want to have a text party, those are tons of fun. So
I'll do one better. Call our office. We'll set up a lunch with you. 210-224-1283, and talk to Cassie. She'll put you on the calendar.
And there you
the
go.
number again is 210.
One second. I want to put it up on our feed at the same time as you say it. 1 second.
On all the feeds that we have.
If it comes, okay, never mind.
224
210 224
1283.
1283.
Call the office, set up a date, and booyah.
There it is.
We'll talk to you one-on-one. We'll come talk to your group, to your family, to your guests at your quinceañera. We'll come talk to your church. You know,
I
we'll
know
come
one
by your
thing.
barbecue. You know,
I'm calling to get me some lunch.
there you go.
I'll be like, Rosa.
We need some Subway over here.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited, and I appreciate the being available for people to come ask questions and come get more information. I mean, that's what you want. Is in every candidate that's going out there. For sure.
You all have a rich history of activists. Angela Davis used to say, "Power to the people." And you know, I think politics should take a second chair to people. So it should always be people over politics.
Over politics.
Yes, ma'am.
Most definitely. But love you, man. So we will see you soon. As there's a few more shows you got to do as interviews on.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we will definitely see you again soon. But tomorrow, the Cove. That's what time it is. 6 o'clock for the meet and greet. You can come see Rosie. And again, we gave you the page so you can find out more information. Right now, you already know we need you to take your pizza.
That's not what I'm ready for, man.
Oh, dang it.
That's fine.
We want you to take your pizza over to Take's Pizza, and definitely do it on Sunday because it's going down as football has officially started, and we're out there each and every Sunday at noon doing it up, having a good time, prizes, giveaways, pizza, wings, food, all of that every Sunday with the mandate and the rest of the one from 12 to 3 o'clock for sure. And then you'll have people that are still there all the way till 6 watching all the games. So definitely hang out with that. So action. And action.
I was ready.
I know. It's me. Thank you.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Likewise. Yes. It's okay.
I brought something for your girl, guys. I think you're going to see her before
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
No doubt.
Let's face face it, it's hot, and weather conditions are not going to get any better. Bills have basically doubled. But what
Tank's
if I told
Pizza,
you I have a way
located
to
at
save
902 North New Braunfels Avenue, is the home of a modern interpretation on classic Italian dishes with the use of only the best and high-quality ingredients. You want pasta? They've got it. Calzones? They've got it. Wings? They've got it. And they even got salads for my healthy eaters with lunch specials and a lunch buffet, all for less than $10. And don't forget to wash it down with a glass of Kool-Aid. Their hours of service are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Be sure you call my people at 210-320-9224. That's 210-320-9224. Yes, they do deliver. Just call them. Tank's Pizza. All that's missing is you.
Let's face it, it's hot, and weather conditions are not going to get any better. Bills have basically doubled. But what if I told you I have a way to save energy and money while protecting your family? This is your girl, Miss Nika, and your solution is Builders Systems Group, or BSG. Take the guessing out of saving energy and let your home act for you. Now picture a thermostat that is so smart that based on your location, activity, and even weather conditions, it can dial down to an energy-saving temperature when you leave and begin to readjust to the perfect temperature while you're on your way home. And guess what? I can get you that system for free. And that's not all. How about alarm monitoring as low as $14.95 and affordable monthly packages to turn any home into a smart home, keeping you, your kids, your family safe, monitored and controlled right from your cell phone or your smartwatch. So how do you get this free smart energy saving thermostat? Well, first you gotta call 210-877-1222 and tell them Miss Nika sent you. BSG, making home automation simple.
YO Productions presents Leave 'em Laughing Comedy Jam, September 28th at 8 p.m. Doors open at 7 at the Continental Cafe, 6390 Fairdale Drive. With your headliner, Miss I'm Real With It, Benita Ward, along with Delisha Ellis, Bobby Smith, your musical guest, Miss Wendy Godley, and the host from Second Verse, Miss Glow. Someone from the audience will be lucky enough to give a 5-minute performance. Be sure to get your tickets and get them early. $15 pre-sale, $20 at the door, or $30 pre-sale for preferred seating, $40 at the door. Cash bar available with food and drinks. Be sure to get your tickets at eventbrite.com.
Turn this up again, babe.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. What a great conversation.
Yes, good stuff.
It was a good conversation. You know, good conversation, good stuff.
Love you.
Good stuff. And it's very, very important, guys. I mean, you know, like anybody else will take their civic duty seriously in order to further their lives. This is a great opportunity for us to do the same thing.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. For sure, for sure.
How voting can just switch things up for you so seemingly easily.
I'm interested.
Right?
I'm interested. I'm interested.
Directing your pizza to the
voters' place. Somebody, Nicole, said she went and voted during the conversation.
Right.
Because there's a special election going on right now. So she went and voted in the special election. Good job, Nicole.
Good job.
Just saying.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
She's getting her points ready for her next big ticket win. She had won tickets to Drew Hill but couldn't go.
We need to do that. We need to add voting as one of the stops.
We can do it, right?
Like one of the things
like
on the app.
Like a scavenger hunt thing?
No, one of the things on the app that gets you like a free night in the in the event center, or a prize or something like that.
I like it.
Let's add that to the scratch off, or as one of the check-in spots.
Ooh, I like it.
You know? And then that way we can add,
because that's not illegal for us to do it, right? Somebody said it's illegal for you to give people stuff for their vote or whatever. I was like, yeah, like the campaign dude, but not me, not
yeah. I mean, we're just talking about checking in at the campaign, like I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should do some research on that. Let's find out first.
I can't be going to jail, man.
Yeah, none of us can. Not until Rosie gets in.
We're real too cute. Yeah, I'm just saying, babe. We're real too cute.
Yeah, we can't do that.
And she's not over that judge law, so we're really screwed. She's family court. Right. We criminal court. We need to find one of them judges.
Right.
My goal is to Look, I have 2 goals. Well, I have lots of goals, but 2 goals when it comes to keeping access to these people, right? Okay. And that's one is to host the annual police ball. I need to host the annual where all the policemen in the city is there. Okay. And possibly more, right? Okay. So I can be fabulous, as I be doing when I'm a host, and they can love me, and I can say, remember this face. We is all friends, right? With all of San Antonio, all policemen. Mm-hmm. I need that to happen. Right. And then the judges. I don't know if they have annual judge-a-thons or anything. But
I'm guessing no.
I need,
the governor's ball. That would be.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I need those important judges. Yeah, I need access.
Does a mayor have? I think the mayor. Is there a mayor's ball here? Because there's a mayor's ball.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Probably should be. A mayor's ball, the same way there's a governor's ball.
There probably is. I just didn't have
hosting that.
I didn't have no access.
No idea. Nobody told me.
Ivy,
there was
why
a
was
party.
I not hosting the mayor's ball, Ivy Taylor? Just kidding. Just kidding, girl. Just kidding, girl.
It should be a mayor's ball.
I'm just saying.
It should be. I mean, even if it's a mayor's cookout, right?
That's so up San Antonio's level.
Mayor
just
cookout.
Saying, it's the mayor's cookout.
The mayor's
whole
cookout.
city invited. Lord, them lines are finna be ridiculous. Oh, is there any sausage left?
Oh my gosh.
All right, what are we talking about? What's going on in the world?
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so there's a hurricane coming. Oh. Right, and we want to make sure that people
That's why all
are
this
safe.
rain.
The hurricane, actually, this rain, I don't think has anything to do with the current hurricane that's in Hurricane Florence.
Oh no,
which
no,
is
Florence
is that's approaching the East Coast right now. So apparently, 30 ships have already been ordered to flee our biggest base in Virginia. So the U.S. has already ordered these ships to go bye-bye before this hurricane gets here, and then come on back when it's done.
Where are they fleeing to?
That's a great question, and maybe not for everybody to know. Yeah. And also because this also includes nuclear ships, like nuclear. Yeah, you don't want to mess around with that, right?
And we don't want the nuclear ships to go off in the
hurricane. We don't want a nuclear meltdown off the coast of Virginia. We certainly don't want that. Right now, I believe the hurricane force winds are at like 115 miles an hour. Yeah. Some models predict. I think they still predict that it's going to jump to Category 5 before it then drops back to Category 4 before it hits the east coast of the country, which is bananas.
Yeah,
right? And my understanding is that it's traveling, and then once it gets here, once it gets to the country, then it's going to slow down, which is even worse, right? Because
then it stops right there.
It's not going to stop, but it's going to, like right now, it's chugging along, and you want it to just chug along and keep it moving.
Going. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying.
We want you over here. But when it gets to the shore, it's supposed to slow down, which means tremendous amounts of rain on the East Coast. So keep them in your prayers. And we pray that you guys all stay safe. As I said, the Navy is calling upon all the ships on the shore, off the coast of Virginia, to bounce, go, and flee. Actually saying, flee, be gone, and then come back with, okay, everybody, Ali oxen free. Let's bring it back. So let me see if this says anything about where it's going. The Navy issued a sortie code Alpha, or its strongest possible order to move ships immediately in the presence of heavy weather. U.S. Navy ships weather rough storms all the time and have been built to withstand hurricanes. So these things are strong. They've been built to withstand hurricanes. But when moored to hard piers, which if they're docked,
that makes it.
Yep. Then they're susceptible to damage
or
even grounding.
So they supposed to be in the water while the hurricane going on?
Yeah, but not near the hurricane, right? So imagine all these guys were like, all right, Bahamas, let's go. Right. Or Jamaica.
Just go somewhere.
Just go somewhere where you're safe away from the hurricane. Right. And then once it passes,
because
them
being docked, the ships are too heavy. So
the
basically,
ships will hit the docks.
Right.
And
That's
in
what I'm
some
saying.
cases, they can run ashore.
That's
Like,
exactly what's
how
going
the
to
hell
happen.
are we gonna push these
and
things
because
back
they're
in the
so and they're going to run over things and not, hopefully not people, but that's what they don't want to happen.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those guys are on their way away, flee. Why don't y'all go to Puerto Rico and see if y'all can do something over there while you wait?
To Puerto Rico.
You should probably help a little bit. I don't know. If you're already going, might as well go somewhere where we can be useful instead of just hanging around. It's a pretty shoe, man. The Yeezy Boost is dope and white, triple white. I love it.
What's a triple white? Real white?
No. Triple white, like meaning like all the trim plus the shoelaces.
Everything's white.
Everything is white.
Like there's no other color.
No other color. So just crispy white sneakers. Like it's a pretty shoe.
It is pretty.
Not for $600, but it's a pretty shoe. The Yeezy Boost Triple White 350 version 2 is coming out on September 21st. Just letting you know. Anyway, MTV is relaunching Yo MTV Raps, but on an international scale. What do you think about that?
Yo MTV Raps. Huh?
Yo, MTV Rap. I don't know.
That was so good.
I don't know.
DJ'd for a long time, didn't you?
I did indeed.
You did, because that was so good.
So Yo MTV Raps is launching an international version, or MTV is launching an international version of Yo MTV Raps. You think that'll? Would you still watch Yo MTV Raps?
I didn't watch it at first.
You didn't watch it at first? When did you start watching Yo MTV
Never.
Raps? Never. Okay.
No, I'm from Garden Ridge.
It doesn't matter.
Just kidding. No, I didn't really watch Yo MTV Raps, but I am interested that they're bringing it back. Is it gonna? I can't remember what was on it. Like it was videos.
Rap music videos, yeah.
And that was it. Did they have a host?
Honestly, they had. Do you remember Fab Five Freddy hosted it for a little while, and then it was.
Were they in a basement?
Huh?
Were they in a basement with like a DJ?
That was BET's version. It was called the Basement, I believe. Or Rap City. It was called Rap City. Anyway, so Yo MTV Raps was actually very instrumental in hip hop because it was some of the first nationally syndicated television or national television that actually featured hip hop. Right. You know, as opposed to having to wait and hope that, MTV puts it on. Right. So, and I'm not exactly sure of the timing, but it seems like it would have also been a great reaction to BET's existence because BET was in its beginning mainly music. It was just
music.
It was just a whole lot of music. Yeah, soul and hip hop and some jazz and some other stuff. Before in the days of Martin and Fresh Prince. Right. That's all they seem to show now. Back then, it was all about music.
It was all about music.
And then
now there's
at least a lot about music. Anyway, so Yo MTV Raps to have versions in the UK, in Germany, and Southeast Asia and African countries.
So you know what I think about that?
So international.
I don't know about the Yo MTV Raps part because the music obviously would have to be like rap music, right? But those different parts of the world that you're naming are coming out with some awesome singers and performers. Sure. And you see obviously more folks internationally because of YouTube and everything. And I'd be like, man, there's a lot of soul outside here that people making music, and it's like beautiful. So stuff. I could see it actually being successful.
Great
because
thing about
I feel
MTV
like
Raps wasn't just always rap, right? It was a lot of it was
did have
also
some R&B in there, didn't they?
Hip hop and R&B. It was mainly about the hip hop culture in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like people like Mary J. Blige was there and stuff. She's not a rapper, but in the end, there you go, So For Real, remember them and Little Kids and stuff, and so it was about the hip hop culture and celebrating that, and hip hop is the hip hop culture is massive and worldwide, and to be able to celebrate, to have a show that continues to celebrate that all across the world, Southeast Asia, right? Africa. You know, the UK, which has some amazing music.
That's interesting.
Germany. Please excuse me if I'm disrespecting anybody out there, but them cats out there on some old, like, we love hip hop.
Yeah.
What?
What is that about?
What? It's amazing. I love it. Absolutely. Break down walls, put on some hip hop.
Put on some hip hop.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Oh, well,
So
you know
that's
what?
kinda-
Can we put on a song that was made in a hip hop time?
Right.
In your hip
She's
hop
from
time.
Breckenridge. You have the excuse. It was made in the time of hip hop, where rap music was over the land. There was a place.
I would like to play a song for you
Right.
at a time.
Okay. That's
hip
before
hop.
10 o'clock, which it's already passed. All right. So as we said at the beginning of the show, today is September 11th.
Mhm.
And Nika and I were talking last night about back September 11th, 2001, where this tragedy happened. The whole world was watching.
Mhm.
And, you know, of course, none of us here were any different. We were all glued to the news. We were all glued to our radios, the TV, you know, the internet, trying to figure out what was happening, what's going on. And we were all just devastated. And a lot of us felt helpless when we watched. I know I did. I felt completely helpless. I was, as you guys know, I'm a New Yorker, but I lived in Miami for a long time because I was going to college there. And I remember being in Miami and watching the news unfold with no ability to get home, right? No planes were flying, like
Right.
nothing. How can I help? And all I wanted to do was just be there. So it was interesting because when you're in that situation where you feel helpless, really you just try to express yourself in any way possible.
Right.
Before all of this, radio, TV, on camera stuff that I do, I was first and foremost a musician, like a lot of people, right? And I went to school for music, and that's what I studied. And in being in school and watching this stuff unfold, you kind of try to express yourself any way possible. And the best way I could get my emotions out were artistically, like anybody else.
You went to the studio.
People painted murals, people wrote sonnets, people wrote whole books, people
Right.
made songs,
Right.
right? People made songs. I am fortunate that this song of my expression did win an Independent Music Grammy Award, which was great. And
You're a Grammy winner.
Yeah, not really.
We're gonna try to make you an escort.
No.
Cargo. What are those called again?
She wants to make me an escargot. Isn't that something?
What is it? Grammy.
EGOT.
Escargot. EGOT.
This is we're not even in the baby league of that. Either way,
You got a Grammy.
I wrote this song on September 12th while I'm watching television. I'm watching, I put it on mute, and I start playing with the keyboard. I start putting some music together. I start doing whatever, and then I start writing. It certainly reflects the feeling in the country at the time. Does it translate to today? I think it's an individual kind of perception, right? But if you can just transport yourself for just a second to September 11th, 2001, then you'll see exactly where we're coming from. You want to play it?
We're gonna play it.
You want to play it?
We're gonna play
You
it.
sure? All right, so here it is. This song is called America's Cry.
In the wake of a storm, the people they mourn, the family torn, the enemies form. They say with a sword, they fight for the Lord. The heroes are born and fight on with benevolent scorn. They say I must be forgiven, that I must not repent. I must pray for the fallen and I must not relent. I must pray for the enemies who fell my kin. I must not take revenge, for I must not sin. But there's so much rubble and there's so much pain. There's so much anger, I got so much hate. There's so much confusion and there's so much death. But there's so much to live for and there's so much left. So why do they they celebrate the tears I cry?
And why?
Do they rejoice over falling sky?
And why?
Do they hate me? All I wanna do is rise.
Why?
Can't I answer when they're asking me?
America,
rise with the phoenix out of fire and ash. Rise, tell your brother you will hold his hand. Rise, tell your mother you'll protect her land. Rise, baby, rise as high as you. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. Yesterday, I was safe in my home. Yesterday, I bought an ice cream cone. Yesterday, we argued over phones. Yesterday, they hadn't cast the first stone. And now, the horizon ain't the same anymore. And now, I won't give my brother pain anymore. And now, we're not arguing like kids anymore. Now, the color of my skin's not an issue anymore. United we stand, united we stay. United we move, united we pray. United we can, united we may. United we will, united we states. We'll take to the skies, we'll take to the seas. We'll take to the land, we'll take to the breeze. We'll take to the fields, we'll take to the streets. And all who oppose, will take to their knees. There is no mistake, there is no release. There is no surrender, there is no retreat. There are no surprises, there is no repeat. There is no recession, there is no defeat. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry.
We cannot and will not recede. I say this to the soldiers who today are hitting hard in the far reaches of the world. Times like these, we need to be reminded of who we truly are. That we will not give up. They make us cry. No more.
America rise with the phoenix out of fire and ash. Rise, tell your brother you will hold his hand. Rise, tell your mother you'll protect her land. Then rise, baby, rise as high as you. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. America fight, America live, America's light will never dim. America ride, America fly, America sing, America's cry. May the sun shine brightly for our brethren cold. May your good deeds come back to you 1,000-fold. May you uphold with honor the beliefs you hold. May whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul.
Say!
So we just figured we'd show you some of the live pictures of what's going on right now at Ground Zero, which is the traditional yearly reading of all the names of all the people that have passed away, on September 11th. Usually now done by the children of the people who passed away on September 11th, which is very interesting, as you guys can see.
Well, that is
young folks there with the military, and there's always a lot of people there as well during this time.
Well, that part is sad, but before that, to say, I like that song, man.
Thank you.
Like, you was, because you have a good voice. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that it sounded good. And then I was like, I'm trying to hear Zay. Like, I'm trying to hear Zay's voice, because I know his radio voice or his commercial voice, if you're just joking around, the kind of voice, coming to the stage,
this summer.
Right. Whatever voice that is, right?
Right.
So I'm listening. And then right when I started listening, it was the line when he was like, when he said I got up, bought me an ice cream cone. I'm like, yep, that's Zay. I was waiting for the cake line in this thing.
Cake. Because I like cake.
I woke up, pressed me a piece of cake.
And I seen a plane. I was like, y'all want cake? No. Okay.
Oh, man. Good stuff, though.
Yeah, you know, you get also, especially, I mean, you get moved. There's so many people that have stories of where they were. If you were alive at the time, you certainly, well, if you were alive and cognizant of what was happening, you certainly remember where you were on September 11th and the circumstances of your life and all that stuff. And it's, you know, and if you're from New York City, usually you have, or inevitably, you have some sort of connection, either a friend or somebody who either passed or was there or was close, or maybe you were there.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I certainly have that in my family. I didn't know where my cousin Anna was, who worked in Tower 1. I had no idea where she was for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I never heard my grandmother and my mom cry so loudly until she finally called. She had to walk halfway up Manhattan with all her people to find a phone that worked. Yeah.
Damn.
To be able to contact the family, say, look, I'm safe. Look. And then to hear her tell the story, because she was there, she got out of the train station and looked up and saw the second plane hit and was like, oh my gosh. Like, she was right
underneath it. Yeah.
Right under it. And then ran, and you just see people running as fast as they can. And
oh
my gosh, what a
because you don't know where the debris falls and things of that sort. Because you basically
you also
have a building falling on top of people too.
But imagine not knowing what's happening. That's the other thing. Like, you look up and you see a plane hit. Like, when she got out of the train station, to hear her tell the story, it's bone chilling. But she gets out of the train, she's just late for work. Like thousands of other people that were just late for work that day for whatever reason.
Oh, she was supposed to be in the building.
She was supposed to be there inside, and that's why everybody was so worried, right? So she was late for work. She comes up the Wall Street station because she worked at Wall Street, and she just you know, getting my day going. Oh my gosh, I'm late. And then you walk up from the subway, and suddenly you look around and you just see people running, and you're like, what's the hell is happening? You know, and she's looking around, and then suddenly she looks up and sees the second plane go boom. And at that point, it's just like, and then she just begins to run, and you know, Lower Manhattan is somewhat small, so everybody starts running towards the Brooklyn Bridge to get off of Manhattan. You know, everybody starts running towards the Brooklyn Bridge, and she's no different, but she started getting taken over by the crowd of people behind her. She couldn't keep up. So she then threw herself in like a doorway, and then just pushed back as hard as possible while she caught her breath in this stampede of hundreds of people just running by her, and she's hoping not to get trampled. And she's just catching her breath, and then when she sees an opening, she runs back into the stampede, and they keeps going. Yeah, I mean, how far can you run? Can you do a mile as fast as you can?
Hell no.
Can you do?
Look at me. Hell no.
2 or 3 miles as fast as you can? That's hard,
right? Your life depended on it.
Exactly, and your life depends. She took a breather and then got back in and started running as fast.
I mean,
as
that's exactly that, man. I feel you, girl.
Go. Yes, it was just I can imagine. But anyway, you know, like anything else. So again, I felt helpless, and I wrote a song to get out the angst.
It was a good song, and I had some moments of Lord, no, yeah. It would make me cry if I listened to it and like listen to it.
Sorry. Well, I'm glad that we could share it. I'm glad that we could share it with folks, and hopefully you liked it.
I might put it in rotation. Shoot, I don't see why not.
All right, so that's happening.
I mean, it sounded good. You sound like somebody who got music in rotation now. That's why I was like, who are you sounding like right now? But like you have, like, why are we not making music? What's going on?
We might gotta put something out there.
I'm just saying, man. Like that.
We might gotta put something out.
I feel like America cry. We got this.
There's nobody talking about it on the feed. If you guys heard it, write us. Tell us what you guys think.
Yeah, for real.
Everybody out there, and we'll share it socially and see what people say.
We'll play it again.
Anyways,
it's time to go.
It's
10:17.
10:17.
So give me a hand. This is gonna be one of those. Jesus. Thank you. Thank you for all. Oh man, thank you for this day though, Lord. On the real. Thank you for this day. Thank you for for everything. Thank you for, again, the lessons and the blessings, but the survival as well. You know, we got to survive through a lot of things in life, and there's a lot of things that bring bruises and scars, but the things that glorify and bring love and bring joyful, man, they just make everything worth it. So continue to bring those feelings to us, dear Lord. Give us traveling grace today, and of course, let's keep love in our hearts, knowing that all things are possible through you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, guys, keep yourselves safe out there. Keep it classy, keep it sexy, keep it clean. We love you with everything. We're going to see you guys tomorrow for Hump Day.
Yes.
Because that's how we get down.
Everybody humping around.
Kissy face. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
We love you. Peace.